everyone. My name is Shashank. I'm here to present regarding our project, Tokyo Olympics in Data. This is our ISA 615 cloud management project. So just to have some brief about the project, the objective of this project is to build a data pipeline within Azure to analyze the 2021 Tokyo Olympics dataset. This project aims to use Azure cloud services to manage, analyze, and visualize data on the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. We will build a cloud-based data engineering pipeline that processes athlete, team, and event information, unlocking insights about the athlete demographics, country performance, and event participation. Let's quickly jump into our architecture diagram. As you can see on the screen, this is our architecture diagram. We have a data source. Here, the data source is a GitHub repository, which is containing CSV files. We are going to ingest this data into our Azure Data Lake storage in the first step using our Azure Data Factory. This is where the data ingestion takes place. Once the ingestion is done, we do have the raw data store. Again, this is a data lake storage, and we are creating a container named Azure Data Lake storage, and here we have a folder named raw data. So again, now that we have the raw data, we are going to transform this data in our Azure Databricks. We are going to check for consistency of the data, column names, column rows, and any other additional data quality checks, and just to see how we are reading the data. So any transformations, if we want, we are going to use Azure Databricks to do those transformations. After doing those transformations, again, we are going to create another folder in our Azure Data Lake storage container, naming transform data. Now that we have the transform data, we are going to use this transform data in Azure Synapse Analytics, where we are going to create tables for each of the CSV file. And this, after using Azure Synapse Analytics, we would be having the final tables which we can create visualizations in. We're going to create visualizations in our Power BI dashboard. Initially, we wanted to create visualizations in Tableau, but there wasn't any connector from Azure Synapse to Tableau, so we pivoted to Power BI to create visualizations. Coming to our Azure platform, this is a resource group which I have created, ISA 615 Project Tokyo Data. Here you can see the Databricks, the data factory, the storage account, and Azure Synapse Analytics being created. So let's just go to the first step. This is our storage account. In the storage account, we have a container named ISA 615 Project Tokyo. In this container, we have a folder named Tokyo Olympic Data. And this is the raw data which you can see. Again, we have the data right now, but in order to get the data here, we need to go to Azure Data Factory. So let's just quickly go to the factory. This is how the pipeline looks like in Azure Data Factory. We have 5 different CSV files, and we are using the copy data function in the Azure Data Factory to get the data from GitHub repository and storing them into the Azure Data Lake storage, which we have just saw. So here you can see the source. Source is a simple data set. We are using get method as it's a HTTP process. We have created a linked service to connect our data, to connect our Azure Data Factory to that GitHub. And our sink is again is a Azure Data Lake storage, which we have just created, and the container which we're going to put the data in. I have replicated this process for all the other tables, coaches and entries, gender, medals, and teams. This is how the pipeline looked like in Data Factory. Now that we have the data in raw data, we need to have transform data. And this is how the CSV files look in raw data. So to get the transform data, we go back to Azure Databricks. This is the Azure Databricks service which I have created. ISA 615 Tokyo Data Analysis Databricks is a service. And this is how the notebook looks like in Azure Databricks. This is the one-time code which we are going to run to connect our Azure Databricks to the data lake storage. So I have given my client ID, I have given my client secret, and I have given my client endpoint. This will be unique to each and every user, but these are my credentials, and I have mounted the data lake storage to this Databricks, so it would be easy for us to get the data directly from the Azure Data Lake storage. And as I have already told you, this is the one-time process. If you run one time, you're well and good to run any transformations in this notebook file named Tokyo Olympic Data Transformation. So as you can see, I've used the ls command to see what are the folders. There's a raw data folder and a transform data folder. I have created multiple data frames for each and every file, and I did some pre-processing here. I just checked the head, everything was looking fine. I cleaned the entries gender data frame because we wanted to convert into integer type. So that's why I did this. And I did some initial data analysis just to see the top gold medal countries here, and everything is looking fine. So and I did another analytic problem here. I calculated the average number of entries by gender by each discipline, and I got the result. So we are good to go for visualization. So I have written down these data frames into our transformed data, and I have created each data frame. I have written each data frame to a CSV file. So now you can see in our Tokyo Olympic data, we have transform data, and each transform data, as these are Spark format, it would be looking something like this. Now we have all these files, transform files ready. So we need to create tables. That's where Azure Synapse Analytics comes into the picture. I have created a database named Tokyo Olympic Database, and I have connected our linked storage, our Azure Data Lake storage to Azure Synapse, and I have created the tables. As you can see, this is an athletes table, coaches table. Each has its own columns, and this each has its own metadata. And just to see whether the tables are working, I had a quick query here. I selected top 100% names from athletes table, and this is the query result. So with this, our tables are also ready. Final thing is to build visualizations based on these tables. This is where our Power BI comes into picture. As you can see in the right hand side, these are the tables which I got from Azure Synapse Analytics. In Power BI, there's a direct feature to get data from Azure Synapse Analytics. If you just click on get data more, and if you type Azure Synapse Analytics, this is where I got the data from, and I got all the tables. And now that we have the tables, it's easy for us to create visualization. As you can see, the first visualization talks about athlete count by country and discipline. The second visualization talks about the percentage distribution of total athletes by discipline. And the third chart is just the participation breakdown by discipline and category. And the fourth chart is just gold medal distribution by country and rank. So this is how we created an end-to-end cloud solution, from getting the data to building visualizations and talking about the visualizations. Uh, these visualizations are actually dynamic, where if you click on a certain thing, these KPIs are going to change. So here you can see if I just clicked on the athletics discipline, it's reloading, but this should be updating in any minutes now. So with this, we can create multiple visualizations too, but we chose most uh, most insightful visualizations for this project. As you can see, the total male athletes are 1.07K in athletics discipline. So this is how we get that information from. And thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed our project.